Hi folks, Grego here. Time for something a little bit different today in this snack food review series. This is something that requires just a little bit of pan searing, and that would be Japanese sea scallops. Now, one of our favorite foods when visiting Japan would be Hokkaido sea scallops from Hokkaido, Japan, up north. You can also get Aomori Bay scallops from the college town of Aomori. It's Aomori, pronounced Aomori. That's a town that a lot of people have never heard of, but it has a population of 200,000 people. And in this area is where you can find really nice, fresh sea scallops that have been harvested from the seas and the bays. Two different types. A sea scallop is the really big one, a bay scallop is the smaller one. And today I'm going to be pan searing some Japanese sea scallops that are not bay scallops. They're the really big ones. So what I'm going to show you will work for both. If you're using the smaller bay scallops, then they will require a little bit more work. So you would have to move quicker. This is something that is relatively easy to do, and there's a million ways of doing it. There's tons of videos on how to do it. I'm just going to show you how I do it. Now, this is what I started with right here. Uh, Sea scallops, which are from Japan. These are imported. This is a brand that you can easily find in the US from an online Asian grocery delivery service, which is called Weee. These are branded as Pacific Surf sea scallops. They come frozen. We've tried them many times, and they are comparable to the ones that you would find in Japan, with a few exceptions. Here's the back of the package here. And if you don't see these, if you're in the US or Canada or England or anywhere else, and if you don't see these on your store shelf, Americans can get them delivered from Weee, and there's actually a link below in this description. If you click on that link, it will take you right to Weee. And I think that if you click on that link, I think you get $10 off your first order or something like that. Now, here's what our bag looked like. They're really nice quality, as always. Now, if you look all the way up at the top of the package where it says sea scallops, the tiny little words that are intended for us to kind of not catch, it says water added. Okay, that's fair enough, and that is normal. Here are the ingredients: scallops, water, sodium triphosphate, and salt. Now, on the sodium triphosphate, that has multiple purposes. It will keep the scallops firm. It also helps water retention, and it's a preservative. I do like to get fresh sea scallops right off of the boat. But to do that, you would need to go to a seafood market and be able to catch them, no pun intended, before they've been processed for mass distribution. So here's how I started. I thawed them out under running water, and once thawed, I put them on a cutting board and added salt. Now, the prep before you sear these is extremely important because you're going to change the texture and you're going to remove a lot of the water. And I'm going to show how that's done. You salt them just like this. A couple of those salt flakes look red because they are. I'm using pink salt, fresh ground, but you can use any type of salt. And if you notice, after a few minutes, water is starting to come out of them. Now, this is just on the first side. We're going to repeat it. Here they are a little bit longer. You want to let this salt water extraction process take place for at least 10 minutes. So this is a table snack that you can make while you're doing other things around the house at the same time. It involves a little bit of waiting. And if you can see here, after about 10 minutes, uh, the water is really starting to come out. Taking a look at the cutting board here, look how much water is left over on that. What I do next is I flip them. When I removed them from the cutting board, I flipped them upside down with the salted side down, and then I patted them down on the wet side in order to get more water out. Now, there is a type of sea scallop which is called dry, and what that means is that that does not have the sodium triphosphate, and possibly it does not have extra water added. So if you're looking for one where you can skip this process, go for one which is called dry, but warning, those are really hard to find. So those were salted again. We're about 10, 12 minutes into the process here. And as you can see on the paper towel, look at that water coming out. This is what more water coming out from the second side. While you're waiting, just go ahead and put some olive oil in a pan. Whatever you have available is fine. I used a ceramic coated pan here, which is starting to get worn out. Those don't last very long. And then you want to get your butter ready. About 2 ounces. Now, if you look at the picture here, one of the pieces of butter is yellow and the other one's white. And that's because I used 2 leftover stick ends of 2 different types of butter. One of them is a grocery store mass-produced butter, and then the white one is a local dairy butter, where I just so happen to have ends of them left that equal approximately 2 ounces. And I didn't actually weigh it or measure it or anything. I just eyeballed it. Then you want to stick that in the microwave right there. The magic time for me is about 33 seconds, and then you will come up with melted butter. And by luck, I nailed approximately 2 ounces here, which that is not really important because all you're going to do is pour it over them when you are pan searing them. Now, you will need salt, pepper, olive oil, and butter. You can skip the butter at the end, but I really like to add that. And the only other thing you need is potato starch. Or you can just use flour if that's what you have. This bag of potato starch you will see here is from Japan, but it does not have to be Japanese. Just any type of potato starch will work. Now, as you can see, the water is really coming out now from the second side. It almost has the entire paper towel soaked up. Now, how much water actually came out of this pound? Let's take a look. I tared a plate on the scale, then added the scallops to the scale, and I came up with 13.9 or 13.8 ounces of scallops left. So I paid for over 2 ounces of water and not scallops. Now, I'm not faulting the distribution company or the brand for this because that's normal in the seafood business. But it does give you an idea of how much water you want to remove from these because they're going to cook better and they're going to have a better or they're going to pan sear better and they're going to have a better texture. There we go. That's how much water was removed. 16 ounces goes down to 13.8. Now, the last step is adding your flour or potato starch. I would suggest potato starch. That's what I always use, but either will work. The reason for that is it's going to help you develop a little bit of a crust on one of the grilling sides. I don't get fancy with it. I just sprinkle it on there with my fingers. You can go all in and put some potato starch or flour in a bowl and make sure that they're evenly coated, but I don't bother going to that step. Then you flip them over. Now, I actually do not add potato starch or flour to the other side. You can if you want to. And then you add a little bit of black pepper. This is freshly ground. You're going to want to place them in a pan preheated to approximately 170 degrees or medium high. Your total cooking time is going to be about 6 or 7 minutes, if that. Your target temperature is going to be 170 degrees. Do not touch them. Stay away from them and leave them alone. Don't move them. Put your tongs or your fork aside or whatever you're using and don't touch them. Give them 3 or 4 minutes. With the pan. Now, after you have passed that 3 or 4 minutes, then you can pick one up and see if it's starting to brown on the bottom. When it is, work fast and flip all of them. Try not to crowd them. Keep a little space in between them. That way they cook at even temperatures. And then take the butter and just is what I try to target. And here's how they came out at the end. Now, the way that I like to serve them is with Japanese pepper, such as togarashi, a pepper blend. Anything that you like will work. Cayenne pepper, paprika. With these condiments you see to the top here, the one on the right by S&B is simply called smoked red pepper, which is something that was available in Japan a couple of years ago, but for some reason only in small remote grocery stores. And just in the last December and January, I went to dozens of grocery stores in Japan, and I was unable to ever find that again. It seems as if S&B has discontinued that, and that's a shame because that was a very unique smoked red pepper. So that's how I like to serve them, and since fortunately I still have a little bit of that left, this is what one looks like when it's cut, and then I sprinkled the Japanese S&B smoked red chili pepper on top of that. Use anything that you want. Paprika. I like to use smoked paprika myself. And there you have an absolutely luscious afternoon snack for everybody. So do enjoy and stay tuned for more of these snack food videos. I'm enjoying doing this, and I hope you are too. Pan-searing Japanese sea or even bay scallops is really easy. It does not take much time, and you may be surprised with the outcome. It's definitely restaurant quality when done the way that I've showed right here. So everyone have a nice day. Good luck. Let me know what you think in the comments.